Welcome to Module 11, Lesson 7. Our I can statement is, I can use different strategies to compare and order 3 or more fractions. So we're going to be working using different strategies to solve problems and order 3 or more fractions. So we've been just comparing. Now we're going to look at putting some in order. All right, so let's look at problem 1. Elizabeth's soccer team is designing a new team flag. Their team colors are green and yellow. They are considering 3 same-size designs. Which design has the least green fabric and which has the most? So all of these fractions are referencing green fabric. All right, number 1, or letter A. We're going to compare each fraction to the benchmark 1/2. I love when we use benchmark fractions. We can think about them on a number line or as a drawing. Okay, but we know that we have 1 whole, 1/2, and 0. Let's think about this 3/5. So this would be 5/5, 0/5. Now it's kind of hard with this because this is 2.5 in the middle. 3/5 is greater than the halfway point, right? So 3/5 is greater than 1/2. Okay, and let's take a look at 8ths. So we have 1/8. Here would be 8/8. 0/8. Our halfway point for 8ths would be 4/8. Is that greater than or less than the halfway? Less than. And with 9/10, we have 10/10, 0/10. Halfway would be 5/10. So that is a lot greater than 1/2. So which of our 2 fractions is greater than 1/2? 3/5 and 9/10 are greater than 1/2. So our smallest fraction is 1/8. That is our least. We want to write equivalent fractions to compare the fractions that are greater than 1/2. So I want you to use the space over here. We're going to go ahead and compare 3/5 and 9/10. All right, I'm going to go ahead and list my common multiples. Right away, I see a common multiple. Do you? 10. So do I need to do anything with 9/10? Nope, it already has my common denominator. But for 3/5, I will have to generate a fraction with a common denominator of 10. 5 times 2 is 10, so I'm multiplying by the fraction 2 halves. And I get the equivalent fraction of 6/10. Well, what do I know about 6/10 and 9/10? 6/10 is less than 9/10. All right, so now I need to list my fractions in order from least to greatest. I know the least is 1/8. Then 6/10, which our original fraction was 3/5. And finally, 9/10. So which design has the least? Design 2 has the least green. And design 3 has the most. Go ahead and pause if you need any more time. Great. Then we'll go ahead and complete number 2. At the end of the soccer team party, parts of 3 medium pizzas are left. There is 3/4 of a cheese pizza, 1/2 of a pepperoni pizza, and 5/6 of a veggie pizza. Elizabeth wants to compare the amounts of pizza that are left. We need to use a common denominator to compare all the fractions. Go ahead and list the multiples of 2, 4, and 6. Pause the video and press play when you're done listing. All right. You should have found that the common multiple was 12. So remember, we're going to make that's going to be our common denominator for all three fractions. I'm just going to fill that in now. All right, go ahead and use that common multiple to write equivalent fractions. Pause the video and press play when you're done to check your answer. All right, so we should have found our equivalent fractions of 9/12, 6/12, and 10/12. We now need to use the equivalent fractions to write the original fractions in order from least to greatest. Well, our smallest one here is 6/12. Our greatest is 10/12. But we need to use the original fractions. So 6/12 is equal to 1/2. Then our middle would be 9/12 or 3/4. And our greatest is 10/12 or 5/6. Right, then letter D just wants us to write the pizzas in order from the least amount left to the greatest amount left. Instead of the fraction, it's asking us for the pizzas. So 1/2 is pepperoni. 3/4 is cheese. And 5/6 is veggie. So the pepperoni was the most popular at the party. All right, go ahead and complete the check understanding. Press pause and press play to check your work. If you're feeling stuck as to how to solve this problem, you might want to use a common numerator. So you can see I've found my common numerators up here. Go ahead and pause again and solve for a common numerator if you're feeling stuck trying to find a common denominator. All right, so I found equivalent fractions for all three. In my explanation, though, I solved it a little bit differently. So you might have done something similar than in this explanation. Okay, so for my explanation, I know that Jai-Ho ate the least amount. And my justification here is that 4/10 is the least. This is because it's less than half. 4/6 and 6/8 are both greater than 1/2. So then I could just compare these two fractions. Kaylee ate the most because 6/8 was greater than 4/6. You could have also compared all of them using a common numerator or denominator, but that was going to take a lot longer to find a common denominator. Okay, so 12/30 was the least, 12/16 was the greatest, 12/18 was the middle. So I know Haley ate the most and Jai-Ho ate the least.